Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 491 at scavengerlife.com.
The diary of our life. Ryan, this past week, did Jay do any shipping?
No.
Of course I didn't do any shipping. I'm not going to do any shipping, Ryan.
You're going to do other things.
I'm not the shipper.
I did use pirate ship. I mean,
okay,
right?
hang on. Right. Let's back into this. I think last week, people got to see probably one of the purest examples of the dynamic of our relationship. I mean, that was, someone wrote to me and says that he was like, you were poking the bear.
No kidding. No kidding.
And really, like, that, I think we've been together now, how long?
16 years.
16 years. I knew that. And we know that dynamic very well. Where, like, you are like the steady hand, you know? You're the steady hand. And you dislike change.
That's true.
I like change, but...
And you encourage it.
I think I have a pretty steady hand, but I like change a lot.
You're not afraid of it.
And I think that was a good example.
It doesn't make you uncomfortable. Like most people.
I think that was a good example when I was poking you about trying Pirate Bay, because, you know, we've talked about Pirate Ship.
Pirate Bay is an entirely different universe.
That's where you get free movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And get in trouble. You know, I was trying to encourage you to use pirate ship, because people have been, our friends on the internet, our internet friends have been encouraging us to try it for over a year now.
For a long time, yeah.
And we've talked about it multiple times. Like, we'll be driving in the car and I'll be like, so Ryan, what do you think about trying? You're like, yeah, whatever. So that was like my attempt to be like, okay, let's really try this. Like, just, you know, and what are the barriers to it? Because we've talked about it, you know, our business has improved because we've done things to switch things up, change things, you know, fix things. But, you know, like in our business, this is kind of how it happens. Is like, we don't want to change, and then finally we painfully change.
Well, look, and part of it is, and anyone who does shipping or just an eBay store in general knows, when you add another step to your already very busy process, it's a pain.
Yeah.
Like, I ship in the morning, but it's before we go do all this other stuff. Like, it's not like, oh, I have a leisurely morning. No, I'm in my office at 8 a.m., sometimes earlier, shipping all these delicate, weird, crazy items. The post office has been incredibly slow the last few weeks. So I'm like, I have to get this out today because it could literally take 14 days to get to this person. You
priority.
know? I mean, even priority. Well, I haven't seen priority take that long, but stuff has been taking a long time. So, you know, you add an extra step. Oh, well, while you're at it, put all the dimensions in for this box or this polymail or whatever on a different website. See if it's cheaper. If it's not, just go back to it. It's like, I can't do that every time. But I will say this about Pirate Ship. I got advice from several people that said, look, the best rates are usually if it's a pound, you know, minimum. So pound plus, and it's in a polymailer.
Right. It can fit in a polymailer.
A polymailer, whether it's a box or a jacket or whatever. And you measure the measurement of the polymailer before you put anything in it. It's like, you know, 12 by 15. And that's your dimensions. And that is the best rate usually.
And how much are you saving?
I mean, sometimes it's only 50 cents. But I'm like, it's cheaper, so I'm going to get that one. You know, you saw some of my labels from yesterday morning.
It seems like they're all about $9.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it would have been 10.15, but instead it was like $9.25. You know, so that's almost $1. But like, if you're saving just a little bit, that's fine. If it's cheaper, I'll get it. But
well, where are these savings where people are like, well, you know, it's $5 cheaper? Have you seen?
I did. I saw a couple of those on larger, heavier items going further. You know, like going to the Midwest or Texas or something like that. So I've seen a couple of those. But there are times where pirate ship's more expensive than just like a regional rate A box, you know? And I'm like, well, okay.
Do you think this is like some kind of a USPS hole? Like they didn't think people would use it like they're using it?
A little bit, because the whole idea of a poly mailer dimension, I don't think they intended people to put a box inside a poly mailer. Now, the idea is that you would put a box inside a poly mailer and not tape it to the shape of the box, because then basically you're like, well, now it's the shape, now it's the box size, you know? So I don't really understand that whole thing, and I don't understand why eBay doesn't give you the option of, they call it like cubic shipping or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I do sell a lot of soft goods, like jackets and sweaters and things like that go in poly mailers, and sometimes they are over a pound. And I wish I had that choice to be like, 15 by 12, 3 pounds to California.
Right.
That would be great. So, yeah. Cool. I don't really understand it, but I used it a few times in the last week.
Yeah. I've seen it because it hits our credit card.
Right, I have shipping. It linked to our credit card,
and so I'll see it. A couple.
And then you'll like text me right away, pirate ship. I'm like, oh my god.
Does it make you feel good doing that?
What? Getting a deal? Yeah,
saving
and it's easy.
Money. Yep.
I mean, so the great thing about pirate ship really is you can sync it to your eBay. So you just like. It's a little bit slow. I don't know if people notice this when I'm like refresh data or like import my, stuff that I need to ship. It'll take a few minutes. So I just kind of let it go and I start packing.
So the key to making it easier, the way that it works is you just had to kind of learn, instead of trying every single package, you now kind of know this package is going to be a package.
Like if it's first class, forget it. Right. Like there's no savings there.
How about if it's like a big giant box, like 2 foot?
I would check that. I would check that. Yeah. Sometimes it's not cheaper though. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe like pirate ship doesn't get a better rate than eBay on a dim weight. The whole like 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
So,
and for people hearing this, if they're new, I mean, this is it. Like this, learning how to ship efficiently and saving.
It's so important.
Money on shipping is so important. I mean, we said it before, we were joking. I mean, if you were gone and I had to do this myself, I mean, all joking aside,
I think you could figure it out.
But at first, my instinct would just be like, I'm just going to take it to the post office and just like shove it in a box that they have there, and then I wouldn't make any money.
I mean, basically the deal is get the cheapest shipping price.
Right. Yeah, but to do that, you have to learn
like all this stuff,
all the different things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, again, people say eBay is really easy. It's easy to sell things on eBay. Yeah, it's easy. eBay has really made it easy to like, you take out your phone with the app and you can like snap a photo of something on the ground. If it's a decent quality item, it can be on a dirty floor. I mean,
well, hopefully it's not.
We all have probably bought those kind of items just because it's someone's given away for cheap. The problem is shipping, and we've seen that where you buy from people who are selling things and they don't know how to ship, and they are obviously losing money on shipping.
We told that example of that artwork last week. He paid me to. He lost money on this artwork that he sent me because he charged for a first class. And he brought it to UPS and had it wrapped and bought a box. And
because eBay doesn't really prompt you or tell you any of that, because from his point of view, he's like, oh, it's a light item, so it's like, oh, it's like whatever, I'll just do it like this. Okay, let's talk about some more eBay stuff this week for us. The big news was the managed payment that got declined.
Oh my God. I think that was on Tuesday morning, something like that.
Anyone in managed payment, you get these payments that sent out. We do it daily or as often as they'll
I think it's daily, yeah.
And it's just normally just in the background. It just kind of happens and they send you
an email.
Yeah. And we got one that said, we tried to send to your bank and it didn't work. It got declined.
Now, the funny thing is, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. It might have been Wednesday when this happened. And I remember well, it worked yesterday and I didn't change it. That was my first thought. I'm like, I didn't touch anything. So why would that? And my bank hasn't, I haven't changed anything with my bank. So I was worried a little bit because I'm like, oh, I don't even know who to call. I'm going to call eBay. They're not going to know what's wrong. So I was like, let me just either call tomorrow or call later. And then we saw on the forum, people started saying, did anyone's managed payments get declined? I'm like, oh, it's eBay. Yep. It's an eBay glitch. And then by the end of the afternoon, in the evening time, our time, they were like, we apologize for... I don't even think they apologized. But
no, but they
acknowledged it.
But they just acknowledged that there was a problem and that they were going to...
And they fixed it.
Send them back out. It is unfortunate that it took, in the age of the internet, it took 6 hours or so for that to go out.
For them to say something.
And, it's unfortunate for them because I'm sure that they got...
so many calls. People
without being connected to a community.
Right.
They probably got thousands, hundreds of calls. I don't know.
Well, the other thing too is I think on the eBay message, the initial decline message, they were like, contact your financial institution. And you're like, I got to sit on hold with my bank. Yeah. Like this is, and they're like, nothing's wrong, The
good thing is,
So I just waited because I know that sometimes that's a glitch. Yeah. And I think a lot of people were like, I'm just going to wait.
So everything's okay.
Yeah, but what
everything's. I saw a message on eBay that eBay will now start collecting VAT tax for all eBay orders to Great Britain,
right?
The United Kingdom, VAT, value added tax.
Yeah.
Here in America we have sales tax, which is state by state. It's actually state, county, town. Like everyone can put like a little tiny tax on everything you buy, but we don't have like a national sales tax, and that's I guess what I think that's what a VAT tax is. If you buy something, there's just like one fee on that.
Is it in all of Europe? Also,
yeah.
I feel like I've been in a European country besides.
It seems like a very a European concept.
Although the UK is not in Europe.
And so all that means is just eBay is starting to do like what they did in America, where, they're starting to add like a sale, taxes on everything, just like a normal store.
Right. And I don't know if it happened overseas like it did here, where in Congress they were like, you got to start, grabbing sales tax, like Airbnb does sales tax.
And I wonder how that's going to be, when we sell over to places overseas. I mean, even Canada, like they have they have like those kind of taxes too. I don't know if they have a VAT, but they have some kind of customs tax, and it's not automatically added.
Right.
And so people will write to us and be like, I don't want to pay global shipping because it adds all these taxes in.
And I don't always have to pay them.
I mean, in the old days, I'd be like, but don't you have to pay these anyway? They're like, no, it doesn't always get paid. It's like kind of a loophole. So now it just sounds like eBay is starting to work with countries and governments to kind of plug that loophole. So
the one good thing about it though is it sucks as a buyer, obviously, because you'll buy something and you're like, oh, it's $2 extra or whatever. But that eBay takes care of it for you. Like Airbnb also takes care of it for us for the state now, and they didn't before. So I was having to remit monthly to the state, and it was such a pain.
Right. It's like a hotel tax.
Yeah. So it's kind of great that as sellers, we don't have to see that.
I know. That was a nightmare. I mean, we even talked about it somewhere, like we were getting all hyperventilated about it. It's like, what happens if us as a seller, we have to start keeping track of
50 states,
all the taxes, and we have to remit all of that. And it totally makes sense. eBay and these other companies, they just
take care of it.
Yeah, they do it on the back end.
Yeah, so that's helpful.
And it's strange. I haven't heard any. I've asked about it. It's before eBay started doing this a year ago.
It's like a year-ish.
I forgot, but started adding taxes to everything. Finally, Congress passed a law that said, and I wonder if states and counties are seeing large influxes of cash,
because of that, because it's a huge extra revenue stream. I don't know. We should look it up. I'd be interested if anyone's listening to this, if they've heard that or read anything.
Done a think piece on this.
It's true, though. I mean, but seriously, because you're like, certain parties in Congress, whoever, was pushing for this.
Sure.
And I actually don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like, I want to pay extra money, but you're like, you are selling in your state. So, yeah.
Anyway, tax matters. Okay, let's talk about our numbers for this week. We sold 38 items, had been like our kind of, we kept selling 38 items every week. We sold 52 items.
Okay, I was like, are we going to break this 38 item streak finally?
Did it feel like a 52 items?
Yeah, I was busy. Like, look.
That's like eight-ish items a day.
As we have been saying, we roast 2 days a week.
Roast coffee
2 days a week. Plus we're working at the cafe. Plus we're like trying to get our cafe ready. So, I mean, I have a lot to do before, like true. 11 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
Ryan gets done more before 11 than most people do.
I'm like, now I need a break at 11 a.m. But, so in those mornings, and a lot of it was delicate stuff, like china, pottery, glass. I have like 2 garden statues that I didn't ship yesterday because I was like, I can't deal with this.
Gnomes.
Yeah, some garden gnomes, 14-inch tall garden gnomes that I need to ship tonight to go out tomorrow.
I know it's difficult to ship that stuff, but I love when that pottery china sells.
It does well for us. I mean, it is a pain in many respects because you have to photograph it, research it. Sometimes it's easy when there's a very clear marking on the bottom. And then store it, and then pack it and ship it, and hope it doesn't break. Yep. So it's all those things, but
good news is a lot of that stuff sells a little higher.
Yeah.
And, we had talked about when we first started eBay 10-ish years ago, it was clothes. Because clothes were the easy thing to find. Like, it was really easy. Go out, buy bags of clothes, find awesome wool coats, and
boots, leather boots.
You could sell these things for $30 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, now I just feel like everyone is in on that game.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole thing now. Clothes is just so overwhelmed. We still do sell clothes. I mean, we have a whole storage area just of clothes. And it's not bad, but I just find clothes don't sell for cheaper.
Well, I do want to say we sold a bunch of clothes this week, which is really funny. Hats, shoes, sweaters.
Right. But the dollar value we get for these things is lower just because...
Well, we've been sitting on a lot of it for a long time.
And just because there's just so many used clothes out there and so many of these brand new apps focus on clothes, because, again, it's
Depop, Poshmark.
Yeah, it's like it's the gateway drug to online
Everyone
selling.
has clothes that they wear that they're getting rid of, and that's how they get started.
Here in the States, Goodwill is like this huge thrift store, Salvation Army, and they're just like overflowing with clothes. Like, they're like throwing clothes away. They're like sending it in big container ships to other countries.
And the other countries don't even... I read some article that they're like, the other countries don't even want them anymore.
So my whole point is that for us... the past year or 2
years,
we've learned that pottery, china,
just
dinnerware stuff is kind of an interesting thing because, and the nice thing is that I feel like it's difficult for other people to get into because it takes need for storage. Exactly. Like, you can't just cram stuff into boxes.
Yes.
You can't put them on hangers. You have to have actual
shelves,
large amounts of storage.
Yes.
It's hard to ship.
Yes.
And it takes a lot more time to research.
Yes.
And it takes longer to sell.
Yes, it does take longer to sell.
You have to be patient. Like, you can't take something and throw $5 on it because the kind of people buying this stuff is not everybody. You know? So anyway.
I enjoy it, though. Yeah. I do. I never thought that I would.
Right.
And I don't know. I like it. I think I like it because it sells. Like, a piece will sell, and I'm like, yes.
Like, for instance, just while we're talking.
Yeah.
Just right now.
Something sold.
ironically, we sold a white porcelain gravy boat soup tureen with a serving ladle spoon. It sold for $40.
Hey, there you go.
It's like the size of like a baseball mitt
it's like
or something.
A perfect. Also, like, look, I think there's certain things selling for Thanksgiving and Christmas time where it's like, yeah, a gravy boat,
and it's not marked anywhere.
Yeah,
it's not like Spode or whatever.
Right. Noritake. I sold a Noritake. I packed a Noritake gravy boat yesterday. Right. So,
and interestingly enough, you have been using the forum because I think you've earned some. I think you've earned some cred, so people to help you. That you found a couple things where you were like, "What is this thing?"
Yeah,
and actually, it was Antique Frog.
Antique Frog was like a lightning,
right?
I had a couple silver plate pieces where I was like, I just cannot, I'll start researching it, Googling, putting something in. I'm like, I cannot find these marks.
Right.
A lot of times I'm typing them wrong. Like one was FH, and I totally thought it was like FM. So there I was off and couldn't find anything. And so I don't know if it's a male or a female, really helped me on two different pieces, and they're both pretty high end. So that it's helpful when you're like, I think this is expensive and I don't want to be like, it's $50 when you're like, this is worth $500.
And this is really
possibly.
And I feel like this is something we've learned, like this is the key for eBay is that it's great to find stuff really cheap that sells really fast, but if it's that easy, it's usually easy for everybody, and that means you're selling lower dollar items. It's the stuff that people don't see and takes more time that can sell better. And that works for us because we are not a high volume seller. Us selling 50 items, 52 items, it's a lot of items for us.
Yeah, that's a lot.
In 1 week. We're not the we sold 800 items. That's not us. But, because they're all handpicked. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did I finish it? Yeah, I didn't even finish anything. So we sold 52 items. We sold gross sales, $1,736.68.
Not including shipping.
Not including the shipping, because it's really interesting.
Well, yeah.
If you add shipping,
right?
I mean, I don't know if this is how it's always been, or if it is. If shipping's gotten more expensive, or if they're adding the taxes in this number.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm going to it. I mean, it's like $2,400 if you add the grand total, as eBay calls it. So you're like, oh, we made $2,400. No, we made like $700 less than that because the arrest is shipping.
I mean, $700 less. I feel like the tax must be added, and also there were a few items like those trolls. I call them trolls. The little garden gnomes. Yeah. They're heavy and large, and they're going across the country, so that was quite a bit of shipping and taxes. And I sold a bunch of stuff global shipping, so all that added, someone bought a heavy item that's going to Korea, and you're like, well, they paid, $60 shipping, whatever.
So that's why, I mean, I know some people say, well, you do sometimes make money on shipping, but I don't think it's
that much. I mean, I do have it on like I said, those garden gnomes, things like that, where I'm like, this is going to take me a few minutes to pack, and I need to put insurance on it, and etc. I will have a handling charge.
Good.
So that's also added in there too. So that helps me with my time and packaging materials and stuff like that.
But that's just why I don't talk about
it's like
shipping.
It wasn't like that money got paid out to the post office.
Yeah. So our average price was about $34, and that's, kind of like that's just been the story of our eBay life, is about $30 to $40 is kind of our average selling price.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. Okay.
Anything else exciting that we sold?
Nixon button. A Nixon
$100. $100, yeah.
President Nixon.
Oh, it said Nixon. So if you look them up on eBay, there's a few of these. Nixon is the one that sold.
Right.
$100.
It's actually That's the thing that it says.
That's what it says. Nixon is the one.
Right. I don't know who would be like, I want to wear a Nixon button, but whatever. We sold some Christmas garlands, which I don't even know what they are, but we sold them for $95.
Yeah, I had 2 of these. They were like Czechoslovakian glass. I sold them for $196. I had 2.
And what is a garland?
A garland, like you wrap it around. Well, you could like hang it on a wall and whatever, but you like wrap it around the tree.
Okay.
Do you ever see people make garlands out of like popcorn and like cranberries?
Yep.
That's a garland.
Oh, okay. Like, cool. Well, thank you for the $100.
That's amazing.
We sold a coffee server, like a coffee thermos, for $150.
Oh, that's right. That was another one that was big and heavy and had to go down to Florida. It's called a ThermoFresh. Well, we bought them. Obviously, we're starting a coffee shop, so we needed like pump pots and
so this is interesting. I guess I don't know if it's interesting to other people.
Is this interesting? We don't know.
It's interesting to us. Like we're just doing this for so it was
in February,
right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was the end of February.
It was a very stressful time in my life.
Yeah.
For many reasons. And there was a hotel fire sale, like a hotel had
a
gone
liquidation.
Out of business,
yeah.
And it was 3 hours away or something.
Yeah.
And we bought $2,500 worth of equipment. We were just
restaurant equipment.
Yeah. This cafe was just a gleam in my eye. And I was like, well, let's just go down there. And my buddy and I, we went down and bought everything.
I bought everything.
And then me and my friend went down there in his truck and huge trailer and loaded it all up. And we got like refrigerators and coffee equipment. And
we got a bunch of stuff.
We didn't know Jack
we didn't know
Jill.
what
We're just like everything was cheap.
Buying.
So we spent $2,500 of equipment.
Oh, we bought a 4-bay sink, which we needed, an underbar 4-bay sink. Right. It was very specialized. We literally built our bar around it. Yeah. So stuff like that was important. But we bought extra stuff because we were like, well, if we don't use it, we'll just sell it.
$2,500 is not a little bit of money to us.
Right.
But at the same time, we know what things cost retail.
Right.
Like that would have been $20,000 if we had bought all that stuff new. So
we were willing to.
We're now finally a year later almost.
That's true.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
On the edge to like bring everything into this cafe that's almost done.
Yeah.
We'll use what we use and then we'll sell everything else. Yeah. And this coffee thermos happened to be, we have too many of them. We have like 10 of them. We'll never.
We have like 15 of them.
We're like starting to.
So we're like, we might need a couple of these, but I'm going to try to sell them. So it was $130 or something. $150. So they're
not bad.
They hold 1.5 gallons of coffee. So they're perfect for like,
it's like
an office meeting or something.
It's like what they have at Starbucks, where they make the coffee in it. So.
That's true.
We sold a coffee ice bucket for $125.
Coffee ice bucket? No, it's like an ice bucket. It's copper.
Sorry,
coffee.
Copper.
Got coffee on the mind. This was a Williams Sonoma made in France, heavy duty copper with like solid brass handles.
Yep.
How much was it? $125. So a lot of these sales, like with the shipping, they were big, heavy, delicate items. So
it's $125 plus shipping.
Right, plus shipping. But what I'm saying is, if the taxes were included in any of those numbers,
it could, that could be an extra $40.
Right, exactly.
I will say a little tidbit here: copper has so been the look.
Yeah.
For 3 years now, and I will say right now, copper is going away. The copper look.
I like copper. A little bit of copper.
Like the whole hammered copper or like the brushed copper.
I disagree. I think it's classic.
Yeah, I think it's going to go away. But anyway, so we're trying to sell that stuff as fast as we can. And then Orion talks about 2 garden gnomes for $100.
Yeah, $100.
I've talked about it before because I'm so proud of myself about a whole table of these like lawn ornaments.
Garden decor.
And I bought the whole table for $100, and then
we've sold a lot of them.
So it's great.
They're a pain to ship.
Scavenge of the week. I bought some stuff at an auction, not really to sell on our store. It's a new auction that I've never bought at.
It was furniture mostly, right?
It was mainly furniture, and it just taught me like, I need to look at this stuff. Like I need to go.
If possible.
I got a little bit bamboozled, or you start to look at stuff online and you have a fantasy about it. And I thought it was much better quality than it was, and so
I actually, when you brought it home, I was like, this is nice stuff. It's not our style.
It's not bad. I guess I thought it was going to be much nicer.
Okay.
Like
in better condition.
It was just like some furniture pieces, and I thought they were going to be like more solid, and they were like kind of Wayfair-y kind of pieces to me.
Two of them are really shiny copper side tables, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Hammered copper side tables, which I think are cool. I might try to sell those on like Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that like, did you buy them to use them in a rental, or like what was the purpose? I think
it's just we haven't really been buying much stuff, and it was a new auction.
Jay had an itch to buy stuff,
and I was like, "Oh, this is it's $100 for these 2 copper side tables." Like, we'll either put them somewhere, or we will sell them and probably make at least $100 each.
Definitely more.
Okay, things we learned in the forum. Pre-1982 pennies.
Yeah, what was
Talk about copper. Let's talk about copper. Okay, so someone came on and was like, is everybody, is everybody collecting pre-1982 pennies? And everyone's like,
no.
And then we had an interesting conversation where, there are people who hoard pre-1982 pennies because the copper content is very high.
So it's not like mixed.
After 1982, and even now, like I had a penny the other day, which I don't ever really have change, and it just feels like all aluminum. It just feels like almost I could bend it with my fingers.
Probably because they're like, copper's more valuable than a penny.
So people were doing the math on it, and a penny, the pre-1982 penny, like the copper is like, so a penny's a penny, is 1 cent.
Yes.
It's like 1.5 cents of copper. So someone was like, if you went to the bank and got pallets of pennies and then put them through a sorter and collected only the old one, you could make 50% on your money or however much.
Put them through a sorter. How would it sort
I don't know.
that?
People were like getting really technical. There's, I guess, some kind of a sorters that could tell.
Detect it.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to like hand sort by date.
No. Like that's the thing. You couldn't. So you'd have to go and get like, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of pennies from the bank, because I guess they'll do that, and then you hoard them. But the only problem is it's illegal to recycle,
like
American
to sell
currency
for scrap.
Yeah, that's illegal. So I guess people were saying, well, there are people hoarding when it's time, like when it is not illegal anymore. So,
when's it not going to be illegal?
I guess maybe one day pennies will no longer be taken out of circulation.
They have been trying to stop using pennies because they stink.
Right. So,
they're a pain.
Anyway, it's so interesting to me it's the guys at the auctions.
Yes.
Because it's mainly men.
Yes.
And they're
the silver hounds.
I call them, the silver hounds. And they come to auctions and they don't care about anything else. It seems like.
Yeah. They're just looking
kind of guys I'm talking about.
They're looking at metal.
They've got like a loop. They have like a little scale.
Yep.
And they go around to the part of the auction, because it's always in the glass case, and they're like doing the silver and the metal, or they go through at the thrift stores, they're going through the silverware, and they're like picking up each piece.
Look, I'm going through the silverware.
It's all good.
Look, one thing we sold yesterday was a sterling silver spoon. And you were like, well, how much is silver worth right now?
$25 an ounce.
Okay, so now I gotta weigh this thing.
It was 19. We sold this little tiny demi-tasse spoon for $19. It's sterling silver, but it's all scuffed up and marked up, and it looks like it went through a garbage disposal by accident. Right.
But I was selling it for the silver.
Right.
But now I have to weigh it.
Yep. Yeah, but I think we'll do okay on it. Okay, old dad on the forum said he really hates it now that eBay puts the total sale of. So if I sell 3 things
to one person,
eBay will send me 3 different emails, And on each email, it gives me the total price of all 3. So it'll say like, oh, you sold this thing for $100. I'm like,
I did?
And I got 3 of these emails, so I made $300. No,
you made $100.
I don't know why eBay does this. It's relatively brand new, and I've seen it too.
I don't understand. Right, I've had that same thing happen. I don't understand why they don't just put the price of the single item. Or, because it was bought through someone's cart,
just send me
one email. Right. Oh, this person, user XYZ, bought these 3 items for a total of, you're like, that is like pretty easy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Guess it's not.
Okay, let's go to the questions or comments that people sent in this week.
Okay, no one called our voicemail line, but you can call our voicemail line and leave a message. The phone number is 540-407-8486. Or you can email us a message. We did get an emailed message, an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hey, Jay and Ryan. This is Anna from Georgia. Thank you, as always, for the podcast and all you guys do to facilitate the Scavenger Life community. Today, I was just wondering how you currently view your decision to improve your inventory system. I find myself at a point of contemplation about doing the same, but I'd love some of your insight about how the new system is working for you these days, now that you have everything plugged in, and just really the felt benefits of it. Has it truly made pulling stuff for shipping more efficient? Does it move you closer to considering training someone to pack and ship? Any other thoughts you might have? I would love to know all of them. Thank you so much.
Hello, Anna. Anna actually just wrote a book about kind of scavenging and selling on eBay and,
it's called
her life.
Miscellaneous, and it's Annapacker, and you can buy it on eBay.
It's like a real book.
I know, it's like, I'm holding it right now.
Right, yeah.
It's like a real book.
Yep. And she actually did a shout out to Scavengers in the beginning. So.
I know, that's so cool.
She's definitely one of us. Okay, so if I'm understanding the question, just when do you, actually start thinking about organizing?
Right now. Do it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like planting a tree. The best time was 10 years ago or now.
Today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know for us, we have always... I will say, though, if you're getting started on eBay, I do see people get paralyzed about starting selling because they get paralyzed on all the details.
All the processes.
How are you going to store this? And they're like, I need to come up with like a whole system. And it's like, that I don't agree with.
Right. That's why we just got started.
We were the ones that just got started. And
had stuff... Your dad had a guest room. Well, that's where we took all our photos. Yeah. And it had these 2 twin beds. And we just had mountains of clothes on them. That was it. That was it.
I actually had I had a bit of a falling out with my father because he didn't understand.
He thought we were hoarders.
He didn't understand what we were doing, that we were making a living off of this. He just thought we were like crazy hoarders. And I think about it now, I'm like, yeah,
of course he did.
It was pretty crazy. Just, anyone that kind of goes all in on eBay, especially at first. And if you're just doing it out of your house, there's like piles of stuff everywhere. But, we knew... We talked about it before. I mean, we ran our eBay business for over 10 years, kind of without a system.
There was a system that was not a number system.
That could be taught to somebody else. I think an inventory a system is when you could teach it to somebody else relatively quickly, and they could find everything.
And look, I will say this, before the pandemic, I had someone packing and shipping for me using this inventory system.
Right.
It's shelf one.
Right. The one that we started about.
Yeah. A year ago.
It was
about a year.
Yeah. And we just, because we built like a warehouse.
Literally. It's a warehouse.
Behind our house. And we now have shelves. Yeah. We just did a numbering system. I listened to a lot of people that gave us advice, and they had some people get I'm like, wow, you guys are really smart, but we just did it very simple. Every shelf unit has a number, and then every shelf has a letter.
Yep.
And then every bin has a number. So it's really easy.
It's like a grid system.
Yeah. And then we just put it in the
custom label SKU thing.
And it's great, right?
That's it. It works.
And saves us a lot of time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I did it before. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it the way we used to.
So specifically answering Anna, I think if you're asking the question, should I improve my inventory?
Yes.
The answer is probably yes, because you're probably getting a little frustrated.
And you probably don't want to do it, and that's why you're asking the question, and I understand that completely.
And the good thing is you don't have to do it all at once. I know for us to do that number, we had 7,000-8,000 items that we had to get over into this new way we're putting things in our storage. And we did it over a period of 4 months.
A few months. And we had our eBay helper help us. So I would take a bin, I would number it. I would be like, she was really good at knowing what things were called and looking at, markings and logos and things like that. So she would look in our inventory, and anything she couldn't find, she'd put aside, and I would know what it was.
Yep.
And we just did it like that. I'm like, okay, these items, just put this custom SKU on it. And we had to slog through it. But it was worth it. It was worth it.
But, people don't have to do it like us. I mean, we held
early.
out. So don't be paralyzed when you're starting out. But if you're like a normal person, you can probably just be like, I can start an inventory system right now.
Right,
and they just start from scratch and do it.
It's not hard, and it's worth it.
I just think maybe for a lot of people, I know it was true for us, I had no idea our inventory would get as big as it did. No idea. It's just, and our inventory areas changed over time.
Right.
It was over at my dad's house that we were in for a year and a half, and then in our house here, and then we built a building, and so we've had to move our inventory.
Well, it was at our
5,
rental
6, 8 times.
A bunch of times. It was, I got so sick of going to the rental every day.
Yep.
Crazy. And we have a screened in front porch. We put a bunch of stuff out there. And then finally, I mean, it was a lot of money to build that back building, but we were like, we have to do this.
Right. So I feel like the way to really do it is that if you were committed and you were like, I'm going to have a big store, I have this huge space, and it's all going to be right here forever. But I think a lot of us start like, oh, it's just in my closet. Right. Oh, no, it's also in my front room.
It takes over.
Oh, I'm taking over my kids' room that just went to college. Oh, I'm going to rent a storage place. Oh, I'm going to
now I need to move to a house that has a full basement.
So I think that's how it is for a lot of us. And so it's hard to build an inventory, a system that can follow you through that.
Exactly.
Okay. That's it for Scavenger Life.
Now we move on to coffee talk.
Because it's part of our life right now. So yesterday we were spending the day in the cafe getting these chairs cleaned up, prepared.
Yeah. So let's talk about the chairs real quick. We've mentioned them. Mid-century Danish. They're literally made in Denmark.
Right. I bought them for between $10 and $30 each.
We've been collecting them for like a year.
Yeah.
They have the ugliest, dirtiest, beige polyester woven upholstery.
Right.
That needs to go.
So we learned that upholstery is a thing. It's new to this, but
upholstery is a thing.
It's kind of new to us. It's hard to find upholsterers, and we just happened to find a young lady who
is 2 blocks away from us,
who is going to do it. She came over, she checked them out, and we bought this really cool,
beautiful fabric, like from someone on eBay.
Yep.
It's this sort of like industrial, but commercial. That's the better word for it. Commercial wool upholstery fabric. She had read
the name of it.
It's Chimera,
right?
Chimera is the brand. And so we just could not figure out what fabric to use. We just had all these, you, me, and Jill are collaborating on this, and we're like, we could try this, we could try this, we could try these different colors, we could try these different fabrics, like, should it be this? Our upholstery woman who's helping us was like, don't you want to do vinyl? Like, aren't people going to spill it? And we were just like, we don't know what to do. And finally, we love wool.
Yeah.
We were like, wool upholstery fabric, right? I just enter it into eBay. I'm like, let's just find somebody's got to have a bolt.
Right.
20 yards or whatever. And I found this fabric, and I was like, "Oh, we got to get
brand,
this."
Yeah, and it's made for workplaces, and and I think that's the thing. I mean, maybe it's going to be the craziest idea I've had, but I feel like wool is actually pretty good with stains.
Yes.
We'll put stain
guard on
it, but it just makes it softer. It's like a heather. It looks nice.
It's beautiful.
What does this have to do with coffee? Well, it's having to do with getting the
business,
cafe ready.
Okay,
this is between us talking here. Just don't tell anybody else. But we're going to try and be open early spring, so we're like 3 months away, from opening up.
But so here's the thing: it's very expensive to have someone reupholster 15 chairs, especially if they have to pull off all the old upholstery. So we're doing that. The crazy thing about it is there's 15 chairs, there's a seat, and there's a backing. So there's 2 pieces. All of these chairs have just industrial staples on every like sometimes there's like 4 staples on top of each other, and you're like, oh my god,
there's like 100 staples right there. So,
I mean, it's just so actually I started doing it last week, and then Jill came yesterday, and we just sat on the floor and pulled staples and pulled off old foam. Like we just were like, we're putting the music on.
But this is part of being scavengers and opening up a coffee business. I guess another way to do it would be like, we'll just go and buy
a bunch of
15
diner chairs,
15 brand new chairs. But I feel like we're going to get better quality for less money. It just takes work.
It takes more time.
And having to scavenge like that. The other thing is the cafe was covered in sawdust.
Before this, yes.
Like just,
last week.
And that's what I've been doing is cleaning, wiping the walls, the ductwork,
because we had the floors refinished. So we had the floor, we painted.
Right.
We had the floors refinished after we painted. Great idea. But you did have to clean it anyway before they painted. So, and then we not refinished, but sanded the countertops and finished those.
Yeah.
So,
well, look,
we just had to
anytime a renovation is done, there's always a time where you have to clean the dust. I mean, and you can pick and choose when that time is.
It's always going to happen.
You have to clean the dust, and it's my nightmare. It keeps me up at night, but we are way past it. We've done it.
You did the ductwork, and it looks beautiful.
It looks great. I did the baseboards. I did the counters.
Which is fine, because I'd much rather pull staples than clean dust.
Yes. Okay. So. And then just to wrap it up, it is the holidays. We are selling bags of coffee like crazy. I recognize some of you who are buying. We really appreciate it. Our partners appreciate it. Our partners just are always flummoxed. They cannot understand who all these random people are.
Like, who's this person in Arizona?
We're in Luray and Harrisonburg, Virginia. Like, that's where this company is. And we're getting orders, from LA, from Oregon, from Chicago.
Missouri. There's a bunch of people.
And they're just like, who are these people? I'm just
and we're like, they're scavengers.
They're scavengers.
They need good coffee for listing.
They're like, what do you talk about on the podcast? I'm like, I don't know. We just talk about our lives. And they're like, you guys aren't that interesting. Like, I don't know.
They never said that. I'm sure they think it, though. They're like, what? Who are these people?
So we really appreciate it. It's helping the business. We're getting started together with them.
Yeah.
We're selling. We've helped probably 10 times their sales, their online sales. Yeah. So it's really helpful. So
we roast on Mondays and we roast on Thursdays. So if you get your orders in Sunday night, that's perfect. We get it on the list.
I will say, so Phil, one of our partners, demands that we only ship priority.
Yes.
Even though Ryan's tried to explain, but if you do first class, it'll get there the same amount of time. But he was like, it needs to get there soon. But we have seen that some priority packages are taking longer than others.
This past week, and I'm sure there are scavengers out there who have shipped during the Thanksgiving week and the week after. So Thanksgiving was on a Thursday. So there was a postal holiday right in the middle of the week, basically. And I've seen stuff it's just not even moved. Right. Here's what's weird. I've seen things leave our post office to go to Richmond, Virginia, which is our sorting facility. and it takes 3 days to get to Richmond. So that means it's sitting at our post office for 3 days. And you're just like, look, the post office is slammed. I'm seeing it all over the country. People in Tennessee, their stuff is just, people in Texas, their stuff is just sitting in the main warehouse. Right. And it'll move like 3 days later. So
it's interesting, you know, running a different kind of business from eBay. You know, eBay, we're selling a one-of-a-kind items. So if it's slow,
people wait.
We're just like, you gotta wait. And there's an eBay process, and you try and like work with people to like get them to be patient, because I can't send them another item.
Right.
But for us, like tomorrow on a Monday, we're gonna actually reship some coffee to some people where it's been a week and a half.
I counted, it's been 13 days.
So it's been almost 2 weeks. And, you know, we have more of the same coffee.
Yeah.
And we're just going to take it upon ourselves. Like, it's not our fault. It's not the person's fault. It's just the way it is. But people need to get their coffee. And so we're going to just resend it to them.
Well, as a post office nerd, it's funny because this particular package was going to North Carolina. That should hop two different places, Richmond and Greensboro, and it's just been sitting in Greensboro for like 12 days. And it basically, I'm like, we don't know when it's going to get to you, but we're going to send you more and hope that it gets there faster. Yeah, the great thing is, honestly, it's priority mail. So you have at least $50 of insurance automatically on that. So I might try to claim part of that order.
Yep. Okay. Thanks for being with us this week. This is Ryan calls it my existential moment where I want to like, I just want to wrap it. No, I don't want to hype anything. I just like, people have just spent part of their lives with us.
I just rolled my eyes.
We've spent our lives together. We've shared it virtually with each other. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, you know. Sure. Thank you. Anyway, I hope you got some work done. And if you drink coffee, there's a lot of people who are like, I don't even drink coffee. I don't know you. I don't understand you. How do you drink caffeine? You know?
Oh my gosh. Well, just, we didn't even mention the name of our company.
No judgment. Yeah.
Broadporchcoffee.com.
Yep.
Or broadporch.coffee, which is a website.
It is. It's true.
And it works.
Okay. This podcast is ending in
3, 2, 1. Bye.